Hello, everyone. Ah, wow. Have we had some energies lately? And fix this. I got a little lighting going on. Oh, thank you. All right. Hi, I'm Kelly Wahl, psychic medium, K Wahl. I consider myself a vessel for spirit. And with a lot of my psychic development came the acknowledgement of healing and how we are all healing vessels. We heal one another by simply showing up. We heal one another by passing a smile. I consider myself a vessel of spirit in the sense of whether you need healing, whether you need solace, inspiration, love, and light. It all comes through. We are all made of energy. Energy is never destroyed, it is merely transformed. We are all psychic and we all have that innate ability to pick up on the feeling of a situation. You can walk into a room and kind of just assess things and take it in. And sometimes when we take it in, we take in too much. We can be very deeply feeling. And a lot more of us than not are very empathic. So we take in so much feelings and then we don't really know where to put it or what to do with it. And we kind of have it stuck on us. And I work with a lot of people to learn about ways to dial it down and just not take it in so much. But most importantly, to figure out what is yours to keep, and what is yours to let go of. As we explore more about that, we have to understand that we can empathize with others, we can sympathize with others, but we don't have to take it all on ourselves. If you saw the movie The Green Mile and John Coffey, this big, robust man that everybody, just looked at him, that he has to be violent because he's so large. And he's very misunderstood, like in a lot of movies, Mice and Men, et cetera, et cetera. But the scene that I always think about after I kind of get into an empathetic overload or a psychic overload, and I'm just taking way too much in. And yes, people will go out and they'll tell you when you're developing your gift, oh, you have to turn it off. You have to protect yourself. Well, we're human. And as much as we can try, you're still going to get a lot of it in. So the scene in The Green Mile when John Coffey, says to Tom Hanks, boss, I'm just tired. I'm tired of the world being so ugly. And then he lets out, that breath and it's all the bees coming out. And that was to really give us a visual of how we need to get rid of, to purge what we can no longer hold in anymore. We hold it in and it starts to just overwhelm us. Or if you've heard the term, where we hold on to resentment or we hold on to anger and it acts as a poison and it's really killing us instead of the poison that we have towards the other person. Now, we had that massive lunar eclipse on Sunday, and the moon sign was in the sign of Scorpio. And Scorpio is a dark sign. Scorpio is ruled by the planet Pluto. And Pluto is all about death and destruction, but it's also rebirth. And I always think of the Hindu goddess Kali Ma, who, the dark mother. And she was all about death and destruction, but we never focus on the rebirth part and how sometimes things need to be shaken down, destroyed, so that when we go to pick things back up, we look around and we pick up like the most important thing, or perhaps maybe the easiest thing, or perhaps the thing that is most whole. And then we start to put things together. It's like a automatic sifting of what's most important. So with that, in an eclipse, it's all about bringing to light what is in the dark. And what is in the dark? Fear. Perhaps it's fear of the unknown. Perhaps it's the fear of not acknowledging what we need to do to get to where we want. A lot of times, you know, somebody will come up with, well, I didn't have time for this and I'm stuck in this situation and I don't have the money to get out of it and I don't have this. And what I hear is excuses. And, I'm human, I'm guilty of it. And it's like, if it's that important to you, you have to finally do something, put energy and action together, but you have to do something different. If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten. So the fact that the moon was in Scorpio for 2.5 days, and it was all about fear coming up and bubbling up. Where I live in Buffalo, New York, born and bred, and very proud. My city is known as the city of good neighbors. We've endured many snowstorms, massive blizzards, and we come together and we plow out people's cars and we shovel out driveways and the streets. And we have, the last massive snowstorm we had was in 2016, January 2016. People were stuck in their cars for 4 hours or more. And the local restaurants where cars are stuck were just going out there and giving out food. That's what we do. And I know we're not the only city that does it, but I'm so proud to be a part of this one. And so what took place on Saturday was a mass shooting for no reason. And the not knowing leaves us with this empty question of why. Yes, what had happened was a manifesto of targeting African American people and the hatred that comes with the diversity of race. My city, like many out there, is made up of African Americans, Jewish, Italian, Irish, German, Polish, Ukrainian. We're all a melting pot. And we're all here to learn from one another's differences, not to hate one another for them, definitely not to kill one another because of them. I read about that in the book of the Quran. I've been raised Catholic my whole life. I chose to go to Catholic school. And when I saw that quote or that passage in the book of the Quran, I was so moved by it that I actually got it tattooed on my body as a reminder. We lost 10 people that day in a supermarket that's only one in that highly populated area. So now that it's been closed, what are people doing that have worked there? And how can they possibly walk back into that building? I mean, we suffer from so many different types of PTSD. And where are people getting their food from right now that, are only within walking distance? It's a community. And I'm so proud of the unity in my community that we have band together. We have wonderful philanthropists donating a lot of money and a lot of organizations to come and hand out food. And we have all these food banks. So the silver lining of this, we always have to look for the light, even in the darkest of times. Through the worst tragedies come the best comebacks. Martin Luther King, this quote really got me because as a spiritualist, as a psychic, as a medium, I'm always looking up to the stars, the moon, and everything. I mean, the fact that I'm correlating this horrific tragedy is to me, there's no mistake. that it was a heightened energy with the full moon, a lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, death and destruction. But let's focus on the rebirth. So Martin Luther King said, I know somehow that only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. We all go through our times of darkness, but we have to remember how good the light is once we get to that point. Now, a lot of people are angry over this. They're mad. How dare somebody that lives 3+ hours away drive into my town, my community, basically step foot on my porch and do this heinous act of hatred. I don't have the answers, but I'll tell you, your anger is because you're hurt. You're hurt that somebody would disrespect the gift of life. And you're hurt because somebody did an act of such hatred. We can't change it, but we certainly can learn from it. And we can learn how we all band together. I'd like to take a moment because I believe in healing. I believe healing is a direct link to really getting out of our own way, getting in tune with our heart, actually with all of our chakras. And it gives us the ability to hone into spirit, God, Allah. It's the higher power of your own understanding and acceptance. And I got this candle, and I really love this because I've never burned it before. I guess I've been waiting for the right time because I wanted it to really honor something. And this candle, it has all these beautiful crystals on it. I know it's difficult to see. And it's called the Root to Crown Chakra Candle. And so it's been layered with different essential oils, different Reiki infused energy. And I think what a great sentiment. We're going to go through the chakras because the root chakra is our foundation. I like to think of that as a square, 4 equal sides, and it's solid, and it lets us know who we are, what we stand for, and what we will no longer tolerate. And then we move up to the sacral chakra, the divine feminine. I like to call that one the sacred chakra because it focuses on our reproductive organs and our sexuality and our movement, our ability to celebrate the skin that we're in. And we move up to that solar plexus chakra, the yellow. Yellow, bright. Yellow represents confidence. And that solar plexus chakra is that I am presence. You can only get that I am confidence and power by standing on a firm foundation, your root, by celebrating who you are with the sacral movement so that we can stand up and breathe into our diaphragm and say, I am enough. And then we go up and we meet the heart chakra, which is the bridge between the two, the earthly material chakras, and then the higher chakras that have to do with intuition and everything. So it's the bridge between the two, the heart, and it's green, and it just promotes healing and the ability to know that you are love, that you can give love, and you can allow yourself to receive love. And then we take that heart chakra and we bring it up into the throat chakra. And I ask to please give us the ability to connect our emotions from the heart and sift them through that narrow tunnel of our throat so that we can clearly express what is needed to be heard so that we can heal. And then we move up to our third eye chakra, where we can see and feel the intuition and the connection between spirit and ourselves to receive messages, to receive clarity, to know that we are divinely guided and protected. And then we move up to the crown chakra, the beautiful white. And I like to think of that as like a tether between heaven and earth. bringing us together and washing us with God's unconditional white light and love. So I would love to light this candle, have a moment for healing. And yes, this has greatly affected my community, but all over the world. We look at Russia, Ukraine, Poland, and we look at all of these countries, that are still in turmoil, that are still, fighting sacred wars, and the division that we've had politically for, how many years. It's been heightened more so than ever. And, I keep thinking of the song by Marvin Gaye, What's Going On? And that song's 50 years old, and we're still fighting the same battles of injustice and inequality. So as I light this candle, I ask that we have a moment for healing and to honor healing. I ask the great unseen healing force to please allow me to be a vessel for healing. To please allow all of us to come together. I'd like to take a moment and honor victims of the Buffalo mass shooting. I'd like to give a voice to their name. Pearlie Young, Catherine Macy, Deacon Hayward Patterson, Celestine Chauncey, Andre McNeil, Roberta Drury, Margus Morrison, Geraldine Talley, Ruth Whitfield, and Aaron Salter. There were 3 others shot and injured that day as well. They have survived. I'd like to honor Zaire Goodman and wish him a healthy, speedy recovery, physically, mentally, and emotionally. The other 2 victims who have survived, I honor them in choosing to want to remain without their names being told. We can still offer them healing and love and light. I honor all of them to rest in peace, knowing that so many hearts are hurt and broken and empty from their passing, their unjust passing. But how beautiful to have had the relationships you've had that make saying goodbye so bittersweet. The darkness, but remember the light. As I call upon the archangels to help us all heal, I'd like to bring in the directions to go all around this globe, all around this planet for universal healing energies. I call upon Archangel Uriel to please bring your light from the north, to bring knowledge and wisdom all over. I ask that Archangel Michael protect us with your sword and your shield from the south. From the east, may Archangel Raphael bring us healing, forgiveness, and love. May we be ensconced in his green cloak of healing. Archangel Gabriel, the messenger, may you bring understanding and clarity. May you bring our prayers to where they need to go, and may you bring the messages from Spirit to who needs to hear them. And call upon Archangel Chamuel, God's truth and the mender of relationships. Please help mend all of the relationships, help bring peace to diversity. And Archangel Sandalphon, please bring harmony as you are so tall and great that you can touch the heavens and the earth. Please bless us with harmony. I keep saying that there's unity in the community. The word itself is included in the two. My community also, we're reminded of the gift of life every day. We are here. We have Roswell Cancer Institute in our backyard. And yes, it's no accident. Of course, Roswell will go where there is a large number of cancer incidents and rates. But the fact that they're here and they help so many people with understanding and treatment and recovery. And when you go through your cancer treatment and you get that clean bill of health, we ring the bell here. And I love that. So even though it's a tough battle, there's so many days that we hear that bell ring. It reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life. Every time, actually, I've never seen that movie, but anytime a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. And it's about knowing that we are not alone. We are all in this, all in the cells in the same body of the Christ consciousness. And whenever you need healing, it's there, just like we did for just a moment. You know, it's about just bringing down our nervous system, clearing our minds as much as we can, and just taking a moment. I always say that when we breathe, we are inspiring. Literally, it's the medical term, because when we stop breathing, that's the date of expiration. So when you're stuck and you're feeling overwhelmed, you know, your empathetic overload, sometimes the best thing you can do is to breathe in and inspire. My dog wants to be included in this. See, everybody wants to be a part of this. Yes, dogs. They have no ego, loves me unconditionally. My best friend. Okay. Go on. That's life, people. Live TV right here. I always say man plans and God laughs. And sometimes, you know, it brings in the best things to make us laugh. And remember, you know, you need to breathe more in order to laugh. So let us breathe in. Let us keep inspiring. Let us choose love over anything else. You know, we need forgiveness. We need love. We need unity in the community. And we need to remind ourselves that whenever two or more are gathered in his name, there is love. Now, there are times where we just can't seem to put down the heavy baggage that we've been carrying, the resentment. We can get mad at life. When people pass, I've seen people get angry or upset that, you know, now I have to do this all on my own. You know, now I'm stuck with this. And they're angry. And again, I'll go back to when you're angry, you're hurt. And it's about acknowledging that, you know, and you feel robbed and you feel slighted. And that's the point of, you know, us being human, we want to control things. And when we try and control things too much, we're going to miss the beauty of the things that are organic, that just come into our lives. We're going to miss the signs that are all around us. The other day, I was having a stressful situation, as you know, many of us do, from day to day, hour to hour. And I went, and I like to submerge myself in water. So yes, I'm lucky enough that I have a hot tub. Okay, you too can have one yourself. And I got in that water, and I think of it as cleansing away any anxieties or tension or any of that yuck that I talked about earlier that we just need to get off of or purge. And as I was there, I took a deep breath, and then as clear as day, this giant hawk, the wingspan was just huge on that. And it was flying so low, and it came right across right by my fence line. And it was like there was no mistaking that I was going to miss that. That was like, you can't miss this. And that's the sign. And a hawk reminds us to use bird's eye view, to look at the big picture. We can get so hung up on, the small thing that got you upset and the little thing, but in the big scheme of things, a week from now or whatever, are you really going to care that you were, 2 minutes late to go somewhere? Is it going to matter? No, nobody's even going to remember a week later. So it's about learning what's an inconvenience and what's a problem. So that hawk came flying down. I couldn't deny it. And it said, focus. But also, it was a sign from my father, because every time I was with him, we'd be driving and he'd point out, there's a hawk. Oh, there's a Cooper's hawk. There's a red-tailed hawk. He was great at pointing these out. So now that he has passed, I know that that's a sign saying, go get what you want, Kelly. Use your bird's eye view and use that focus. And choose love. I want you to take away from this to choose to walk in the light of love. I want to thank you for spending this time with me and acknowledging healing. And I hope that healing comes to all of you, no matter what your circumstances are. And know that you are loved. Thank you, everyone. We'll do this all again next week.